Oh, I see myself. Let me see.
Oh,
Oh.
there you are. Of course, we're both
Ooh.
wearing red. We didn't even talk about that. I love it. I love
Red
it.
and black, baby. Red and black.
Red and black. That is, of course, didn't even discuss it. Oh no, did you fall? Your camera fell.
I know. Whew. The power.
Oh my gosh, you look fabulous, darling.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Fabulous.
you. So do
Fabulous.
you.
Thank you. I'm in my casual, comfy after work clothes, and it's cold here in Massachusetts, so I'm wearing my flannel. Um, Excellent. All right. So, do we want to wait for a few people to join before we begin, or do we want to just, I mean, this is mostly for YouTube, right? But it is fun to have people
Yeah.
viewing. So, what do you
Well,
think?
let's invite everyone who's here, and perhaps you can talk a little bit about what this is to just give everyone a little voice into what we've been sharing via text posts.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a collaboration, and we're just so you know, we're not officially starting yet. We're just kind of warming up. This is our warm up.
This is a warm up,
Um,
people.
this is our warm up. All right, so now we have someone joining. Super Scott joined. Anthony. All right, now we got people joining. All right, this is great.
Yay.
Welcome,
Ooh,
welcome,
we've got some
welcome.
mayhem
This
in the
is,
room.
yep, Mayhem. Is that what you said? Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's a good name.
and
We
it's
need a
like
little.
AGLM. It's like contained chaos. I like it.
Yes. Makes me think of the, what is it, the Helm of Ra or something? There's some magic symbol, the Helm of something in Norse pagan mythology. It's
Mm-hmm.
escaping me. It's got the two dragon heads.
Yeah.
That's making me think of that. So now we got some nice people coming in. So welcome everyone. All right, so I think we could now officially begin. So welcome everyone. I'm Dragon Jedi 44, also known as Allison, and I have with me a beautiful special guest. I would like to introduce Drasmin, and go ahead and take it
Hello.
away with your introduction.
Hi, everyone. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Such a pleasure to be here today with the fabulous Dragon Jedi 44, Sovereign Soul Sister Allison. OMG. We've known each other so many lives. We've been working in the quantum in this life for a few years. And we have just been recently inspired to bring this forward. So, welcome to Dark Mother Daughters. We are your hosts, and this is a live, unscripted conversation exploring lineage, shadow, rage, embodied power, devotion, and the intelligence of the body. We're going to be speaking from lived experience, not to fix or perform, but to witness what is present and alchemize in real time. We
I
speak
love that.
openly. Uh-huh. And we're going to speak openly, and then we're going to take some of your questions. So stick with us, get a drink of water, get comfy where you are. I've got my robe on because, that robe life, staying warm and sexy.
Hmm.
So,
Yes, and Mayhem is asking if we are witches. I would like to just maybe let's both speak a little bit about who we are and what we are, how we identify.
yes.
So I don't actually identify as a witch, although a lot of my hashtags and my videos are hashtag witch talk. I identify more as a sorceress and a healer and a guide.
Mm. Love that. Yes, yes, yes. Love that. Thank you for voicing that. Mm.
And I would add to that, I have been called a high priestess by several people. So I will take that in as truth. I know for sure in past lives I have been. So, Drasmeen, what do you identify as in the magical realm?
Thank you, thank you. I mirror you in High Priestess, deep bow. And I also don't identify as a witch. I identify more as an alchemist, a quantum
Mm,
alchemist.
love
In my
that.
poetry, in my work, in all the things I do, I would call myself an alchemist, and then nervous system engineer
Oh,
for
I
more.
love that.
Yes.
That is a fun title. Put that on the resume. Oh my, I'd hire you in a heartbeat. Yep.
Nervous system engineer over here, y'all. So, yes, I love that we are bringing that clarity forward because we are going to be working with several archetypes of the Dark Mother.
Hmm.
And we are going to then bring and close with a grounding integration to support your nervous system. So, whether you're here live or catching the replay, mm, allow yourself to land here fully. Let's take a big, deep breath in. Arrive, be in the body, and begin.
So we are here on this beautiful evening to talk about the Dark Mother, and we are the daughters of the Dark Mother. So we're going to break that down a little bit of what does that mean. So the Dark Mother is, would you say, an archetype, Drasmin?
Archetype seems to be an easier word to bridge
Yeah,
understanding.
to bridge. That's exactly. I'm trying to think of language for our followers listening to resonate with.
Hmm.
And so I'll say a little bit and then I'll pass it to you to add on. When I first remembered in this lifetime the Dark Mother was when I was learning about Lilith and Astarte and Isis and all these divine, gorgeous goddesses that were very powerful. And there was a theme that I noticed that there was a demonization of them, a demonization of their powers. And there was a common theme that they stood strong in the face of adversity, that they were ferocious in the face of their opponent. When they were in the face of being oppressed or suppressed, they refused. There was refusal, there was rising up, there was standing up, there was calling out, there was protection, there was justice. And I could not understand how would these goddesses be so demonized and suppressed. And now I know with the times that we're in, I know exactly why, because that is the very essence, that is the very energy that has been deprived and bound, literally bound, literally cast into binding spells. And that is the energy that kept this planet in check. You know, the discipline, the mother discipline of a little toddler running around unruly. They need firm discipline. When someone harms someone else, there needs to be consequences. And these goddesses, the Dark Mother, brought the consequences to those who were harming children and women and innocent and the masses, right? And so the more I read about them, the more I felt like I was reading about myself. I would read and you know, they would set boundaries. They would refuse to be ordered around. They would refuse to follow the patriarchal expectations. They wanted their sovereignty. They wanted their independence. But when there was no threat, they were soft and loving and nurturing and beautiful and divine. And they're still beautiful and divine, even in their darkness. Their darkness doesn't make them evil. Their darkness makes them powerful. And everything I read about them resonated, and I felt like I was reading about myself in a past life in some way. And then I started to think I must be a descendant. There must be some type of link. Um, and so when Drasmin and I first started talking on TikTok and started chatting on the phone, our conversations would light up. We would just have this incredible synergy and likeness and resonance with each other that it was very soon into our relationship on TikTok that we were like, we are sisters. Like we are absolutely sisters. There is no doubt about it. And the more that we've talked and the more time we spend, the more our memories come back to us. And that memory can even be a visceral remembrance. It's not always like a cognitive memory, but it can just be a sensation. And so I think that the last conversation that we had, we really became clear, like we are the daughters of the Dark Mother. We are the embodiment in the now and the here and now on this timeline, 2026. Here we are rebirthing them into this world, and they are so needed. Consequences, retribution, karma, the balance to balance out the imbalance is what we really need. And these are the goddesses to bring it. And we are rebirthing them into this reality through us, through our vessels, through our words and our actions. So that is my little breakdown of the Dark Mother and being a daughter of the Dark Mother and what that means. How about you, Drasmin? What does it mean
Mm.
to you?
Woo!
Let that sink, let that sink in for a minute, right? Woo! That
I
was a lot. I wasn't even
know.
ready for that myself, to be honest.
Woo! Live and unscripted, baby.
That we did
That's what the
say.
Dark Mother is. She is
Hmm.
alive and she is unscripted, and she shows
Yes,
up whether we are ready for it or not. Because
absolutely.
I feel for me, the Dark Mother is really about, um, for me, the common thread between the Dark Mothers is they restore balance.
Yes, I love that.
Whether that's the balance of exchange of energy, exchange of power, exchange of time, exchange of resources.
Hmm.
Every single Dark Mother that I have worked with has helped me find deeper balance and harmony within myself and life source creation energy.
Life source creation energy. So powerful.
And I don't, you were talking about your first experience with the Dark Mother, and I realized that I've never actually thought about that for myself. I've always just, it's just always been there.
Hmm.
And so I'm sitting here in this moment, feeling into and tracing the spiral of where did this connection begin?
Great question.
Hmm. I've been protected since the womb, and I know you have too. And I feel that in a way, the Dark Mother energy is also that primal power. You spoke
Primal.
of power in the darkness.
Hmm.
And primal power is that other side of the moon, so to speak. We can only imagine what is there. But it is truly unknown until it presents itself. And when I think about being in the womb and being in the darkness and being protected in the darkness, isn't that the first presence of the Dark Mother?
Absolutely. Very well said. 100%.
The fucking void in the womb is the first physical presence of the Dark Mother. And that's actually really fucking profound.
No, it is. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about a recurring dream I had as a child where I was floating in a dark void, no body, no vessel, but just consciousness, just pure consciousness. And I was aware I was something. I was aware I existed. I was aware I could think. And I remember just floating through space. And it was a very real, vivid feeling. And I would wake up from those dreams wondering, what was that? Why do I keep having these dreams? And I think for me, now that we're having this conversation, like that was my consciousness being birthed into the void, and that we are like the portal in which our consciousness comes into existence is through darkness. Just as a baby is born into this world through the exiting of the womb, from darkness to light.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And the goddess today that we're talking about is Hecate.
Mhm.
And Hecate, I mean, there's so many incredible things about her. And I'm really glad that she's the first one that we're talking about in this series because so prior to us getting on here, I was saying to Drasmin that for some reason I have not been drawn to Hecate. And I think it's because she is so popular on Witch Talk. And I just see so many videos about her that I feel like, oh, if something's a trend, then, there's suspicion. But I will, oh, can I tell a quick story about how Hecate did reach out to me? And you will love this. And I will send you the video. I do have a video on it. So I came across a reading on TikTok, and it was like, Hecate is trying to connect with you. And I was like, whatever. She's not going to connect with me on TikTok. That's ridiculous. And I just like immediately swiped. And then I was telling a friend as we're walking in the woods of Exeter, New Hampshire, I was saying, I keep getting these videos that Hecate wants to connect with me on TikTok. And like, if she wants to connect with me, she's going to have to just fucking show up. Like, I'm not going to like look at some reading on TikTok and have that be my aha moment with Hecate. I like had that resistance, like refusal. I shit you not, within minutes of saying that, and I was also like, oh, she's a goddess of magic. She's a goddess of witchcraft. Like, I should be into her. I should be drawn to her, right? With everything that I love. And then kid you not, I turn the corner. There is a cauldron, an old, rusted freaking cauldron in the middle of the woods, Drasmin, just chilling there. Like from like the 1700s, I swear to God, it was so old that it was like crumbling and it was like all rusted. And I was like, what do we have here? Is this a cauldron? It was a cauldron with a handle, like an actual handle, just like a cauldron has, and it was just sitting on top of a little pile of rocks and nothing else around it, just leaves. It was in the fall. And I was like, all right, well, clearly we're going to have to do something here. So we stoked a fire, and the fire was rip roaring out of the. I mean, the flames were like 3 feet high. It was out of control. I was almost like, did we make a mistake? Like, are we going to burn the forest down? Like the Exeter Police Department and Fire Department are going to roll up. Like, what the hell? And anyways, but I was like, all right, I mean, if that's not a sign that she is actually trying to reach me. So after that point, I did spend some time learning about her and reading about her. And one of the things I love about her that I recently did took out the dagger and cut the cord with fierceness. She is so good with boundaries, and she's so good with withdrawing her energy when she recognizes she is not valued, she is not being respected, her offerings are not being reciprocated. She will be like, how about no? And just like that, so fast. And she will pull all of what she offered right back to her. Like, no, 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 no. You're going to be a stingy little leech. You don't get that. You don't get to keep my magic. Like, you're being rude and disrespectful and not honoring me. You don't get to keep the magic I just gave you. And she will withdraw it. And there are
Mhm.
consequences for that. And she will withdraw protection. And there are consequences for that.
Mhm.
So when I read about her, that is the stuff that fires me up. And
Mhm.
she bridges the worlds of, death and life. And
Mhm.
so cemeteries have been a place that I've been drawn to since childhood. When I look back at my childhood, I'm like, yeah, I was a strange kid. I preferred to hang out in cemeteries over going to the mall. Yep, at like 13. Like, where's
Mhm.
Allison? Oh, she's just chilling in the cemetery again. No big deal. Like, what? But now I know it's like the Hecate connection. But yeah, so she's pretty badass. But how about that cauldron story though, Drasmin? Is that wild?
Yo,
Can you believe that?
that's something else. And when you talk about the big fire, I just couldn't help but laugh because anytime I call upon Mother Hecate for ritual fire, like and I light the fire, it goes like woof every single time. So I just got a good old chuckle from that. I'm like, mm-hmm.
See, I'm
Yep.
familiar with that. That was my
You
first
like
experience with her.
you literally brought that cauldron into your this timeline, like from a different timeline. Like you
That's
basically merged timelines in that moment to
that is what
remember
it felt like.
yourself.
Yeah. I was like, what this is, I mean, and you find a lot of stuff in New England like that, like kicking around, stuff from like the 1800s, just like hanging out in the woods. Like literally there's scrap metal everywhere. But a cauldron out of all things, like, come on now.
Come on.
Um, Come on now. Yeah, so that's cool. So what are some of the things that, so I had just named some of the things that really resonate with me about Hecate. And how do you pronounce her name? I say Hecate. Is that how you say it?
I say Hecate.
Hecate. Okay.
Yeah. So Hecate. I'm sure you know she gives grace just like tomato, tomato. Um, but for me, okay. So I want to bring just a soft voice into the date that we are in right now. Because one of the big things about Mother Hecate is she is the mother of crossroads. You do
Mm.
not go through big changes in life without going through the crossroads of Mother Hecate. And so Hecate for me is about that choice and consequence. And today, as we have made this choice to reveal ourselves and claim our seat, our throne on her table, we just happen to be in the force field of this eclipse, fire horse, new moon energy in
Mm.
Aquarius. Like, talk about a legacy making moment, personally and collectively. This choice that we have made to be a voice, be a presence, anchor her in deeper reverence in the collective, it truly brings us into a cord cutting of from that timeline of dysfunction and
Mm.
disassociation and disrespect.
Yeah.
We're taking off now. That old
Mhm.
timeline is literally burned away. Serpent and then fire. Those snake skins are already burnt away, fucking smoke. Like, it has been insanely windy here for the last 48 hours. The bones in
Mm.
my backyard were all moved by the spirits of the animals. Like, it's been wild out there as the wind spirits have been coming, and that's how I know that Mother Hecate is there, because the winds come and stir and clear the energy.
I love that.
The very first time I intentionally worked with Mother Hecate was when I cut the cord from my maternal lineage. And I cut the cord from the blood maternal lineage in this timeline to ease myself from karmic obligation that kept my soul bound in repetitive loops because of the nature of karma.
Mhm.
But that is a big decision, right? So it requires a big sacrifice. And I had recently made, and shortly after the big sacrifice was revealed to me.
That's
Worth it,
incredible.
absolutely, right? But there's a very specific way to work with Mother Hecate, and it is to call upon her where a road literally crosses in a square facing those directions. And so common, yet not as common as you might think, because sometimes it's a little off. And I have been blessed to live super close to two crossroads exactly like that. And the house that I currently live in, the center of the house is also a crossroad. So there's direct airflow, and the winds can spin and take that
Oh,
choice across time, and it reverberates.
that is
And
so
that's
incredible.
and that's what brings consequence, right?
Hmm.
There's no right or wrong, it's just consequence. So if you make a choice from the highest truth, which is love, from that seat of sovereign center, then you're at peace with the consequence because you know you're in accord, you're in tune with the cycles of life. And you are given that blessing when Hecate, Mother Hecate, gives you what you have asked for.
I love that.
So we are here today on February 17th, going live at this crossroad energy of making a choice. Are we going to take the next couple of weeks between this eclipse and the next full moon eclipse that's happening, I believe, the first week of March? This is the choice point. Rise or not. There's no more in between.
Absolutely. I see that. I see that happening very clearly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, as you're talking about like the wind stirring and the crossroads, my memory went back to that cauldron, and there was two sticks that were like in a cross, two big branches right by that cauldron. And I started to speak an incantation to take down the colonizer empire. Sure did. Yeah. I mean, Hecate is going to show up. What else would I want to do with that power? Bring down the empire. And as I started to speak an incantation, the wind picked up and was in like a swirl. And my friend that was with me at the time was like, whoa, that's wild. My hair was blowing all around. And it was like a scene out of a movie. I mean, it was really wild, all of the symbology. You know what? Also, there was broken glass everywhere too. We started
Mhm.
to, I felt the need to use a branch like a broom. And I was like sweeping the leaves out of the way. And as I started sweeping the leaves, because I wanted to clean up the little area, make, like a circle. And there was old bottles from like the 1800s, like a ton of them, just tons of glass bottles and broken glass. And I was wondering what that could have meant. And what came to me at the time was like message in a bottle. You know, there's got to be a message to that. Do you know, is there anything coming to you about that? Like, why would there be broken glass and old bottles all over that site?
If the glass was already broken, then the message was released and you got it.
Okay, I'll take it.
You got
That's
it.
amazing.
I mean, you innately understood in that moment that it was she. There was no doubt in your mind. You were awakened to the remembrance of your deep devotional relationship with her. And when you said earlier that you did not really feel a calling to her to speak to her, or invoke her, or bring her in your videos, what was coming to me, it's like, because that's easy, you've already done it. Like, she's a part of you. You're like sisters. You're like, psh, you're good. You've already proved yourself through many lifetimes. And so, like, all of that glass was like all of those memories, it's like memories in a bottle. Not
Mm,
just messages, but like memories in a bottle. And it was because that's really what glass is. Broken glass is a release of energy. And so when you're talking about bottles, I'm like, oh, little memories of all the times that you were a witch, you were a devotee, you were a priestess, you were a
hmm
student.
hmm
And now that we are here a few years later, having this conversation shows that you have been in integration to be able to voice that experience and what has come through since then. Um, One of the other core teachings about Hecate, and this ties into choice, is how choice creates destiny. And in that moment, your choices have brought you to this now destiny point. Um, and glass is also very interesting because it also represents like protection. Because usually those of us, you and I and other sisters and brothers we know who are highly, highly protected, things will break, glass will shatter around us.
Absolutely. I've experienced that multiple times.
Crystals will break, other things will
hmm
break because
hmm
we are so protected and we are so in deep communion with Creator, with God, Goddess, life source, creation energy, that it naturally responds to protect us. And this is one of the deeper embodiment pieces is once you truly start living through the wisdom of the Dark Mothers, through the wisdom of the cycles and seasons, through the wisdom of the body, then you realize that you are always protected and you don't need to continue to invoke protection. Rather, you start to dust, clear the cobwebs, minor fixes here and there. Only when there is guilt and shame and fear does one feel the need to be defensive and be in protection. And when one steps into the presence of Mother Hecate, there is no delusion.
Her torch illuminates, right? Her light illuminates the dark spaces, and she removes illusion.
She removes the illusion. She makes your choices very clear, and she makes it very clear that once you make that choice, there is no going back. And this is the message that's coming through right now, is the denial of consequence of personal choice is
Yes.
what is making things harder for some people right
The
now.
inability to take accountability. Those who have been, I'm just going to say this too. Sorry, I just got lit up. Those that have been doing harm to others, especially in a narcissistic, lack of empathy, lack of consideration, lack of regard, lack of self-awareness way,
Mhm.
there is going to be consequences and karma that you will not be able to avoid or evade.
Mhm.
There has
Mhm.
been far too much avoidance and evasion and inability to take accountability on this planet. And that's why there's a great imbalance. Because the ones that used to keep it in check were literally bound. But they are
Ah,
breaking free and they are returning through us. And we
mhm.
will be the ones that will bring that.
I am happy.
Yeah.
I am happy to call upon Lady Mother Ma'at and invoke justice. And I do so often when I see trees being cut down violently without any respect for no reason other than selfishness. I immediately just go there. I don't give a fuck. Stop our trees.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
so
No, that,
yes, I love that you brought this piece in about responsibility because I love to break down language. Allison, you already know, and it's responsibility, our ability to respond, our refusal to accept the consequences of choices that we have made piles up and
mhm.
eventually erupts like a volcano and shits all over your life. So the
Yeah.
choice is to sit your ass down and start doing the work every day for 15 minutes at a timer if you need, but sit in the discomfort or sit in the consequences of choosing to not. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as I can't unless you are literally physically incapable, disabled, literally cannot do something. It's a matter of choices, priorities, and values every single moment. That's what choice is. What are you valuing? What are you prioritizing? Shit, what was the third one I said?
Well, I was gonna just interject that choice leads to consequence. There's outcomes to your choice, you know, like whatever choices you are making, there are outcomes, whether that be positive or negative. Drasmine, is it okay throughout this if I just recognize a few of the comments
Please,
and the
please, let's
followers?
start
I
bringing
just,
the comments in. Let's start bringing the
yeah,
people in. Let's start engaging our
to make
beautiful
inter, yeah. I want to say hi to Wizard of Oz. He is in Australia. And he actually, where is it? I need to, I'm trying to think of where I put it. Actually, I'm going to look for it. He made me a handmade dagger for my magic practices, and he mailed it to me to the United States. So hold on, I think I have it. If that thought comes back
OMG.
to you, if that
Love.
thought comes back to you. All right, here we go. Josh, look at this.
Wow, that's so beautiful.
Like,
I can
yeah.
tell that knife has
And
been
I
dipped in
have,
blood.
yeah. Oh, you can see the blood. You got a good eye, sis. Of course it was.
I can feel the frequency
And
of blood magic, yo. I'm like a fucking basset
oh
hound.
well, and he did his blood magic on it too.
Yep.
So anyways, this has got the divine feminine and divine masculine magic. And
Mm.
I have used it, and I swipe with it, and I also stab with it, like energetically when I'm doing my magic. Just to cut those cords.
So I have an idea.
Hmm.
Before I bring in our nervous system integration, after we take some questions and comments, perhaps we can do like a little cord cutting for those who are ready to cross the threshold into their sacred sovereign I am presence and fully anchor in that highest timeline for themselves and thus for the collective.
I would absolutely love that. And I think too, if we can do a little incantation to bring the balance back and bring the consequences back, because especially here in the United States, we are screaming for
Mhm.
consequences. We're screaming for accountability right now, and it's not happening, certainly not happening quick enough. So maybe we can hit the accelerate button, in the magical
Hey,
realm.
that's what eclipses are for, baby. You think it's just gonna take
Mm-mm-mm.
6 months? Watch, it's gonna happen in 6 days.
I am here for it. I am here for it. Before we even move on, can you say a little bit more too about practicing with Hecate, like how to how to work with her, how to invoke her, what to offer her, and a little bit about the offerings, because I know what I offer my goddesses when I'm in ceremony with them, and I know that you know. Um, but say a little bit about that if you could for the people listening.
Oh, good questions. Love it. So, Mother Hecate is wonderful to call upon when you are in indecision fatigue or when you are struggling with calling and holding your power, when you are struggling with external authority and oppression type energies. And the offering to bring Mother Hecate is DNA, blood, hair, nails, and also wine. She loves wine and flowers are some good offerings to bring to Mother Hecate.
I love that. I'm laughing because I somehow knew that without ever reading it in a book. That was just knowledge I just happened to have. And I'm laughing because I love the confirmation. I love when the wisdom from past lives just comes forward and you trust it. And then you later get confirmation of there was reason for that.
Mhm, mhm. Love that. Most of the goddesses, dark mothers that I have, and dark mothers that I've sat with, journeyed with, I didn't read about. And a few of them I've read about later, but a lot of the information out there is so distorted that I'm just like, it's a waste of my fucking time. Like, I don't need that. So I love this
Well,
confirmation that we have in real life because it's like, yes, here
right.
is the truth. And so the offerings are great, but also like be very clear about your boundaries because the how you can truly integrate the gifts that Mother Hecate brings is when you have clear boundaries and impeccable timing. Like it is a commitment, it is a choice, it is a 100% in. There's no divorce ceremony here.
Right. Yeah.
So, something I'm just gonna take responsibility here live, okay? And one of the things that I have been just sitting on is this whole like practice of how to work with the different goddesses and mothers. And I do have a little download that I haven't yet put on my shop. And so I'm going to make a choice in this moment here in public, here in witness of beautiful Allison and all these people that I may meet someday, to complete that. And so that that teaching can be written and brought forward for those who want to further confirm and amplify their workings with Mother Hecate and the other dark mothers that come forward.
Beautiful. I love this. Is it
Mhm.
okay if I say a little something about like the offerings that you listed? I want to just speak to that for a moment
Please
because
do.
I think what's important for people who are listening that may be, just beginning to dabble into magic, they may just be on the start of their journey. And some of those things might make their indoctrinated human brain go, ew, gross, right? Like that's fucked up, or whatever the judgment might be. So I just want to
Um,
dismantle that for a minute and help people understand that if that is your automatic response of ooh, gross, that's weird, that is the indoctrination. All of those things contain your DNA. Your DNA holds your records of your soul, of your lineage. One strand of DNA can recreate life,
mhm,
can recreate those records and bring all of that information into matter, right? So like it is powerful stuff. Our DNA is so, so powerful. And they say that there's, junk DNA. There's no such thing as junk DNA. We wouldn't have DNA that didn't serve a purpose. It all serves a purpose. We have dormant DNA. So I just want to invite people to be open when you're hearing stuff like this, to recognize that if you do have an automatic repulsion to it, that is a sign that you need to decolonize the brain and break yourself free from the indoctrination. And also, what also going along with that is the binding. These
mhm,
goddesses were bound, they were smear campaigned, they were labeled as evil, they were labeled by the patriarchy as something negative. And the features, the qualities that they hold, their essence, their energy, is what I, in my lifetime, have experienced. Whenever that's come forward, it's been met with condescension, it's been met with belittlement, or being told that I'm being rude or I'm being disrespectful, or the person that I'm, bringing that energy to tries to make me insecure or doubt myself, make me feel like I'm doing something wrong by standing in my ferocity, by speaking my truth, by setting boundaries. And that energy that continuously has been trying to suppress Mother Hecate, it's coming to an end. There's no more witch trials, there's no more burning us at the stake, there's no more pressing us in between stones. They literally pressed witches in between two slabs of stone in Salem, Massachusetts. Like that's not talked about. You know what I mean? Like not enough. They put us in basements and torture chambers and dungeons. They put us in mental institutes in the 1800s and experimented on us. Like this is the lifetime where all of that is going to come to an end. There is no more suffering for the dark mother goddess. She is rising back up so
mhm,
powerful than before,
mhm.
that those tactics will fall flat and in fact backfire on the sender.
Yeah, instantly. And like that,
Yeah,
honey.
exactly.
And,
Yeah.
I also want to bring into the field, for those of you who do not know me, which is most of you, is I am the daughter of a missionary, preacher's kid. So I was raised in ideology. I read the Bible 3 times by the time I was like 12, and was studying Hebrew and Greek to read the original text. So I understand the indoctrination, and you cannot use that as an excuse for your delusional bullshit. That, oh, Del, this is just how it is, and this is what I know. Uh-uh. There is deep work, yes, that will need to happen to delayer. And it is sometimes painful. And there are other goddesses, other dark mothers that we will bring in through the series that come into different stages. And then this brings me back to the beginning of the conversation when you was asked me, are dark mother archetypes? And it's like, maybe archetypes isn't the right word. Perhaps it's more of the different stages that happen in the subconscious of the soul, the evolution of the feminine essence. Because each one brings a very specific medicine that all together create a solid foundation for sovereign truth to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's going to be maybe a core. I definitely have a core to work with. And some come for a season, some stay for several seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that you spoke into the indoctrination and the binding, because there is still, well, this is all crumbling now as we speak, which is fantastic. And the replay of this video is going up on YouTube on February 20th, which is when Saturn and is it Neptune goes 0 degrees in Aries. That's like crossroad energy.
That's gonna be epic. That's gonna be epic. Yeah.
Collective awakening showdown. I got my snacks ready.
Get the popcorn out. I'll definitely be having some red wine to honor Hecate
3
with. And that's
glasses
the,
or 2
yeah. Well,
bottles.
that's so funny that you said that she loves red wine, because I'm like, that's another thing that resonates, another thing that people have judged me on. Oh my God, did you have that much wine? Remember that story? Oh my God, you had that much wine? Like, yes, bitch, I'm not done. I'm just warming up. Like, leave me
I might take
alone
a
with my
bath
wine.
in my fucking grape vat.
Yeah, I might, bathe myself in red wine. What the heck? But oh
Ugh.
my gosh. Anyways, yeah. So I have another quick story for you about Crossroads. So I went to a witchy shop in Salem, Massachusetts, and I got a reading. And she gave me three little shells, or like not shells, they were like nuts or something. I'm trying to remember. They're like acorns or something. But she had put magic on them, and she said, when you're at a crossroads, throw one of them over your shoulder. Chestnuts, were they? Is there like something that is associated with Hecate? I couldn't remember, but it was some type of like shell or nut or something. And she gave me three of them, and she said, when you're at a crossroads, you throw one over your shoulder and you like essentially make a wish, or, think of an intention. So where did I throw one of them over my shoulder, you may ask? None other than the Masonic Temple in DC, after I had been in there for hours studying their shit. Listen, I got my magnifying glass. I'm a detective. I'm on to you. And so after I did my detective work, I was like, my assessment is borrowed. No, you mean stolen? Adopted? No, you mean piracy, right? Because that they love that language. We adopted, we borrowed from ancient Egypt and their practices. No, you stole, motherfuckers. You're pirates. So
Yeah.
I took one and I said, may any and all piracy of occult knowledge, wisdom, or magical practices lead to severe consequences. If that was taken without permission, those rites and those practices and those rituals were stolen from other practices without permission and inverted and used with nefarious intent, may that crumble to bits.
Mhm.
And I have to say, since then, it does seem it does seem like some shit is crumbling. I'm just gonna just acknowledge that. That shit is crumbling, and it's crumbling fast. But
So
that's like a whole other, topic to get into, is the stolen. Not only did they bind the goddess, they stole her knowledge and wisdom and practices and corrupted them and perverted them
Mhm.
and contaminated them. So we got a lot of cleaning up to do, as part of this rebalancing of the darkness. A lot of that is going to be cleansing and clearing what's been highly contaminated, tampered with, interfered with.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they also have been evading their consequences by cloaking themselves in their glamour magic and illusion magic and their Solomonic seals. But that can all be shredded, and it shall be.
Mhm. And it is done.
Yes. Thank you for that. That was fun. Whatever that was on my head. Yeah. So,
I want
anyways,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I needed to tell you that story because that was one of probably the most powerful places that could have thrown the little chestnut, a little Hecate intention over my shoulder at a crossroads for a
Casual magic.
particular.
Toot, toot, toot. I'm just eating my nuts. Leave me alone.
Oh my God. And then what was hilarious, there was a tree in front of the temple, and I reached up to grab the branch to like stretch, and I broke the whole fucking branch right off the tree. And it was like a big branch, just the whole thing just a crack. And like my superpowers got activated. I was like just holding a branch in front of like the Masonic temple, and I was like, I'm just gonna put that down.
Toot, 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 toot. Just walk
Nothing
away.
to see here. Just shredding centuries worth of dark spells. No big deal. They won't even notice.
I want to touch
Oh,
a
that's
little
good
bit.
stuff.
I want to touch a little bit on the blood magic because
Hmm.
there's definitely more proof that's coming out now around this practice, this
Hmm.
distorted practice, because there is powerful magic that can be done. I mean, it's all about intention, right? Whatever medium you use, whether it's blood or salt or herbs or just the power of your thought. You don't need anything outside of you, just FYI for all the baby witches out there. So, blood magic is definitely what has allowed this infestation shit to remain active for as long as it has been. And then there's also the distortion within the DNA, the experimentation of the Anunnaki into the DNA coding back in the timeline of the Atlantean, Mayan, Lemurian eras. And that has come through. And I'll definitely dive more into this in another episode when it feels more aligned. But like in today's world, and I am a survivor of this, and I speak into this in my chapter in my book, Central Symphony, which is available on my website. I was for 10 years and forced into cultistic practices where I witnessed babies, toddlers, 3 year olds come in and their blood be used for sacrifices and a lot of other horrific things. And I go into all the details in my book. And the only reason I was able to speak into this now is because the only leverage they had on me exited the world 5 years ago, which freed me. And that was part of one of the consequences of me choosing to be the lineage breaker. I had to completely disconnect from my bloodline to fully anchor that in. And some of us are in that path, some of us are not, right? But like this siphoning and using the blood of innocent children is a very real thing that's happening. And I am glad that there is more proof that is coming out. But to the audience that is listening here live and those who are catching the replay, if you have gone through experiences, first of all, you're not crazy. Those are your memories. Validate yourself and your experience first and start speaking up about it because silence is what feeds their power. When we refuse to be silent, when we refuse to accept oppression, When we choose to, maybe sometimes for years, stand alone as the only one who is speaking truth, gladly, there's a lot more community available now. So a lot of y'all don't really have an excuse anymore. Start validating your own experiences and speaking out. Stop accepting neglect and abuse. Stop witnessing it go down in your friend circles, in your neighbors, with the children that you see in the world. We are responsible for ourselves, yes, but we also have a responsibility to life by association. Don't make it your problem, but don't just be silent about it either. What the fuck? I have lived in the United States for 20 years and I can't even go to my neighbors and ask them for a cup of sugar because it's like, oh my God, you're a brown woman. You must be a terrorist. I'm not even from the Middle fucking East. We have to stop breeding the secrecy with our own silence.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Well, and a lot of that too, the division spells. Like I have a newspaper from the 1800s that literally has a division spell in it with an incantation, with a fill in the blank, with a multiple choice thing for people to like pick and choose. It is so messed up. I did a video on it. It is on my channel.
Yeah.
Um, it's just incredible what they have done to create division, among the masses. And their biggest fear is us breaking through that spell and unifying and coming together and actually working together. That
And
is
so,
their fear.
and so here in a few moments, we're going to do a shared transmission where we break the spell for those who are willing to accept. All you have to do is say yes and allow yourself to receive. Um, and, when you were talking about the throwing over the shoulder, I was reminded of my first ritual with Mother Hecate. I did salt over my shoulder. So salt is the most basic way, bring your offerings and then use salt in a circle, if you can, to blow that to the winds. I'm so glad that we spoke into the blood magic because I feel like, especially right now, as we are bringing this transmission live, is the most powerful time to really break that spell that has people enslaved in their own lives, and they can feel the disassociation and yet they can't quite get a grasp on it. Well, after this transmission, you will exactly know what the fuck is up. We're repairing within.
I love that. So we're going to do the transmission. And then you said you had the nervous system. What was that we're going
Yeah,
to do with the
so
nervous system?
yeah, once we do the transmission, integration in the body is so important. Okay. We cannot escape the 3D. We are literal fucking 3D bodies. This practice of mastery is about integrating these deeper layers of awareness and understanding into our human experience, which includes speaking up and taking action for effective, long lasting, satisfying change. And so I will be bringing this just practice to ground back into the body, to recenter. And then our beautiful Dragon Jedi will offer any closing words. And do we have any final questions, comments that we want to address before we go into this practice?
Yeah, let me just take a look at the comments. I think
While
Josh,
you're looking at the
yeah.
comments, I was going to say the offering of blood. And this is also part of Native American prophecy. It's because there has been so much blood that has been unwillingly shed that when we willingly offer our blood life force, it starts to balance the scales. So it goes beyond an offering for self. It's an offering for life. It's a practice of forgiveness and compassion. We don't have to understand or even feel too deeply the pain of our ancestors, but we can acknowledge and give a little offering to soothe that scar.
And I would like to just add a little bit to that to clarify. When Drasmin and I are referencing blood magic, there is no harming another being in that. There is no harming an animal. Just to be very, very clear, that
Yes.
is blood that our body generates on its own. We also do not cut ourselves. We don't
Yes.
need to cut ourselves because our blood is generated out of the womb. The uterus sheds our blood. That is what we're referring to, not any type of harm.
Yes.
But yeah, I do want to say that the reason why the patriarchy did start harming animals and children for their rituals is because they don't bleed on a monthly basis. They didn't have their own blood to use.
Mhm.
And so, with the inversion and perversion and contamination of ritual and magic, that is something that they stole. It goes way, way back to the mother goddess. That is how she created, was through her blood. Spirit is born into this world through blood.
Mhm.
Blood is the portal. So
Yes.
that's another thing that's been demonized. And with everything that's coming out right now, that is the opposite of the goddess. That is the opposite of the original teachings and the original practices. So I just wanted to throw that in there in case anyone had any
Yes.
questions about that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I have never once cut myself for ritual. It's all been moon blood, or if I accidentally cut myself. And that's the advice that I have for the brothers or for those sisters who no longer bleed is when you just accidentally cut yourself, anoint your doorways, offer it to the earth, give it to your plant. If you wipe yourself on a tissue, if you have a bloody nose, you can put that tissue in the fire. You can put that in the soil. Harm to none, harm to no one.
Yes, I
The
think that's
body
very important.
releases an offering because it's in communion with life. So just trust that and give it with love.
I love that. Yes. And when we do our practices, the intention is always pure, and we follow the rule, the universal law, I should say, of do no harm. That is my number one universal law, is do no harm.
Mhm.
Um, However, though, karma in retribution is justified. And if someone has been harming others greatly, it may be in their karma to then experience what they wished upon others. But that's a very different, that's just universal law. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
So, all right. I'm ready. I'm ready if you are for our
Yes,
next
I am
transmission.
ready to tumble the false foundations and make it all crumble. Ow! Lead the way.
Crumble, crumble, crumble as it may. So I would like to invite those that resonate with us and are resonating with the Dark Mother Hecate, to join me in this transmission and incantation. It is now time for the children of light to rise up out of the darkness back into the light. It is now time for the bondage and the binds to be shattered and broken to the fullest degree possible. We are done being oppressed. We are done being suppressed. We are done being restricted. And we reclaim and we recall all of our powers from all of our lifetimes. May they merge in this one lifetime to be brought forth so that we may balance this imbalance on earth. So we may cleanse the parasitic infection. We may reverse the inversion. And those that stole and inverted and have done great harm upon this planet will be brought to justice, will receive their karma. They will not be able to evade. It will be unescapable. And it will be for all to witness. And I ask if you would like to join me in this incantation of breaking the binds on yourself. I hereby declare that any or all forms of binding, bondage, or limitation placed upon my soul or my consciousness, my mind, my body, my spirit at any point in any time on any timeline in any and all lifetimes now be torched with dragon fire. May all aspects of me be fully released and fully free. I claim my sovereignty. I am a sovereign being. I will not be trapped. I will not be enslaved. I am the most powerful version of myself I've ever been. So mote it be.
As we wrap up today's transmission, I invite you to take a moment to reorient back to center. Place one hand on your chest and one on your lower belly, feet uncrossed, and inhale gently through the nose to the count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale softly through the mouth like you are fogging a mirror. Now deeper, one more time. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale slowly. One more time, inhale soft and deep. And this time make a sound on the exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale, even louder. One more. This time, maybe add some movement on the exhale to shake it all off. And as you just shake it all off and speak life into your presence, I am here. I am safe. I am allowed to feel deeply and not move to fix it. Breathe into that space. Softly center. Slow down the movements. Gently return to the body. If anything was stirred tonight, you do not need to understand it. Integration happens through rest, water, breath, nature, and time. Soften that breath. Return to the sacred sovereign center of your heart space. Take one more slow, deep breath and feel your weight held by Mother Earth.
Thank you. Thank you. That was divine. That was beautiful. I feel like I'm on fire. My hands got really hot. I actually felt like I was getting burned by a candle right there. It was so hot. I was like, is that normal? Probably not. Thank you, sister. You have some talent with that. You are for sure, as what was the title? A nervous system engineer. Is that right? Yes. Um, well done. Well done. And I think that we talked a lot. We covered a lot, I should say. We covered a lot of ground here. It was a very productive conversation. It was enriching. It was expansive. I'm honored. I'm grateful that Source brought us back together in this lifetime.
Mm,
And although we did have a little moment of separation, here we are reconnected, we are on our path, we are on fire. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and for being here and being present. And I would like to just end with that gratitude, and I would like to give you the opportunity to say any closing words that you may have.
mm, mm. Thank you. Deeply received. Mm. Hmm. Thank you, Sister Dragon Jedi Allison, for your presence in this world, in my life, for co-hosting this magic with me. I also, similar to you, feel like I'm on fire and also like exhausted. And I am just so excited to be on this journey with you. And I feel this like lightness of being, like my little girl energy, just like skipping down the meadow with her friend, but the meadow is like fire and brimstone, and we're just drinking wine and smoking our little fatties and just enjoying ourselves. You know, we're like frolicking in the motherfucking underworld, but we're having the best time. And it's such a refreshing change of pace from like the way I've been in the underworld while I was going through my initiation journeys, where it was painful. And it's nice to be on the other side where it's a party.
It is a party after. It's the best after party you've ever been to, right?
Right? So just so much gratitude for you. And I'm just deeply, deeply receiving and in deep honorance of you, of me, of the path and choices that we have made to bring us to this moment of perfected wholeness. And fuck,
And we are host.
Fire Horse 2026. That's gonna be the most unpredictable year yet. So like,
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And also, let us not forget who we are. We are the mother. Sorry, we are the daughters of the Dark Mother. We also are. I got that. See, that's my dyslexia. Let me
it's
try
okay.
that again. Okay.
So
We are the daughters of the Dark Mother, and we are
yes.
here to rebirth the Dark Mother.
Yes, Aho. So thank you, beloved one, for your presence today. For those of you who are here live, for those of you who are catching the replay, thank you for your listening. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for weaving your energy into this space. Continue sharing your comments and thoughts and insights, knowing with the awareness that we practice discernment in who we respond to. So if you try to start shit, we're just not going to entertain it because we're busy building our new life over here, drinking our bottles of wine. So, as we
Without
close
judgment.
tonight, know that this conversation meets you exactly where you're meant to receive it. You do not need to carry this or even everything alone. You do not need to resolve what has opened either. Leave behind what is not yours. Focus on your peace. This is the Dark Mother Daughters. Until next time, stay close to your body, your breath, and your truth.
Thank you and good night. That concludes our live.